Alexandra Sleator, Career Accelerator, and this is the last video in this month's series on interview tips. So let me share with you my third interview tips, and it's about experience stories. An experience story is the way that I suggest that you answer the interviewer's questions. Your CV has shown everybody really what you can do. So now is the time in the interview to show how you do what you do. And the experience story shows how you operate. So it is important that you share effectively stories of your past to illustrate how you applied all this knowledge that is listed in the CV. So, for example, if you want to explain that you're a fast learner, don't just say, I'm a fast learner. Give specific details. Share a story of when you learned fast. Something like, during this project, I had to learn very fast the basics of accountancy. And how I did that was by blah, blah, blah. Or if you want to show that you work well with others, which is a typical thing that interviewers will be looking for. Again, share a story and, for example, tell about the time when you worked with people from different teams and how you value the diversity of opinion that came from that experience because blah 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 happened. So when you share an experience story, you're also showing how it will be to work with you, what your contribution might look like if you were to join the team. And going back to the point that I made in the other videos on interview tips about chemistry and building rapport, you're helping with the experience story the interviewer, whether it's the hiring manager or a potential team member, to imagine you working alongside them, working in the team, and what that will look like. So in addition to sharing stories, make sure that you mention experiences around how you solved problems that are similar to the ones that the hiring manager is trying to solve. So make sure that you select among your experience stories similar enough situations where you helped out and share how you did that, so that you really make it relevant for the interviewer to hear about how you deal with problems that are the ones that are trying to fix with this recruitment. And so when you give specific details, when you illustrate what your contribution will look like, when you explain that you have solved in previous occasions problems that are similar enough to the ones that are driving this recruitment need, what you're really doing is giving the person in front of you, the person that you're dialoguing with in the interview, what is called a future experience today. That is that you're giving them a feel for who you are, you're opening up to them, you're letting them see the genuine person that you are and how that will look like in a work context. So you're giving them a feel for how the two of you will behave, will work together, will interact together if they let you join the team. And that's also a good way of building rapport. It's a little bit, in fact, like having a road test with a car. Clearly, when you road test a car, you don't get to check everything out, but you get to see, good enough, what it feels like to drive, what the engine sounds like, how comfortable the seats are, and how the gearbox works. So that's effectively the experience that you want to give the interviewer when they meet you in an interview, a feeling that they've road tested you a little bit. So something very genuine, very authentic about you. When you have shared an experience story, use it to make sure that you're on the right track. So going back to my experience about the fast learner, ask them, do you think that my ability to learn fast will be helpful, if I should join your team? Something like that. So that makes sure that you talk about really relevant stuff and that you don't go off on a tangent, that you keep the interviewer engaged. And if they say yes, this skill is going to be very important, and assuming they say that every time or something like that, every time that you share an experience story, what they're doing with these sentences is telling themselves that, you are the one they want. So let them tell you how much they like all your experience stories. Now, fourth tip, which is research the company. Clearly, if you're interviewing with a variety of companies, if you have to research all of them, that's a significant investment of your time. And so let me share with you 4 reasons why I think it's absolutely crucial that you do that. The first one is check that the company is right for you. And of course, on their website or in their company accounts, the company will put only their best foot forward. So look for other sources, articles, things on the web, Twitter, and see if you can dig any dirt. You don't want to wake up too late to the fact that this company maybe has employee relations problems or other issues, or you might find that you don't like the way they do business from what you're reading, or that you don't like the products and services even that they're into. So that's the first reason. The second is simply the converse, which is, are you right for the company? When you research the company, make sure that you check that your skill set is the kind that they will need, or also that your values, the way that you like to operate, is aligned to the way that this company functions. So there needs to be a fit, and it needs to go both ways. The third reason why you want to research the company is because you will find out potentially about their needs. Now, clearly you must have some sort of a job description, but sometimes those are a little bit waffly. But the more you can find out about what's going on for this company and where you might fit in, where you might help, the more helpful. Because going back to my point on the experience stories, you've had a fruitful life, so you have plenty of stories to share potentially. So your research will allow you, as you prepare, to think which are the stories in my professional life that will make more sense to this interviewer. And so you might decide to share a particular story with firm A when you interview, but not to share it with firm B because it's less relevant to them. So that's how, by making sure that you check the needs of the company, you can pick in advance what kind of experience stories will be the most powerful to share. The fourth reason to research the company is so that you can ask the right questions. In the first video on interview tips, I talked about motivation and how I wanted to check that the person wanted this job, that they wanted to join us. When you ask really incisive questions, really well-researched questions, you're demonstrating your keen interest in this particular company. You're showing that you're not just there to put food on the table, and in that sense, you make the interviewer feel a little bit special. You're showing your regard, esteem for the firm that they're part of, and in that sense, you're showing motivation. The other benefit, of course, of asking questions is that you're gathering all this information so that if an offer should materialize, and in fact, if you are lucky enough to have a number of offers, the information that you will have gathered during your research, but of course also in the interviews, will be what you go back to in order to be able to make your decision and accept or not the offer. So those are the 4 reasons why I believe it's important to research the company and go to the company's website, download its accounts, but look through newspaper articles and other medium of communication to try and get as much of a variety of angles on that company as possible, and not just read what they wrote about themselves, which is always likely to be a tad more positive. So this concludes my 4 tips on interviewing well and to prepare in order that you stand out from your competition. So I hope that this was useful, and again, please do let me know whether this was relevant to you, and if you have any further questions. In all the years that I've interviewed myself and of course interviewed others, I have noticed there are so many pitfalls that it's so easy to fall into. I've actually built an inventory of problems that I spotted in interviews, so don't hesitate to ask me about that. So this concludes this month. For June, what I have in store for you is managing your boss. for possibly quite a few of you. There is the mid-year review coming up, and so I thought that talking about how you manage this very important person in your life might be of interest. So this is what we'll do next month in June. Until then, take very good care, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.